Mm.
Rho Alpha Tau East Texas Chapter, rhoalphatau.com, his work, our hands, Christ and community.
Thank you for tuning in. A live stream new episode of the Stephanie M. Seaton Sunday Show will be starting soon. With your host, minister, and author Stephanie M. Seaton. If you would like to be a guest on the Stephanie M. Seaton Sunday Show, email Stephanie at stephaniemseatontheauthor@gmail.com.
Well, hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. It's been a couple of weeks. Just have had so much going on. I know you have been watching a couple of reviews, but I'm so happy to be back live tonight. Tonight, I have Miss Denise Billings. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hello, hello, hello. Good to see you again.
Good to see you again, too. I'm glad we finally got here, right?
Just a minute.
Thank you so much for being patient and coming on to share with us tonight. Miss Denise has got some amazing things that she's working on. She is coming to us tonight out of Los Angeles, California. We had the pleasure of meeting back in October at the National Black Book Festival. And as I had said a couple of weeks ago, I met some amazing people at the National Black Book Festival, so many that I'm still in contact with. So it's been amazing that everybody has, still kind of talked and been able to link back up after all of this time. It's almost time for it again in October, right? Mm-hmm. So we're going to talk about all things Miss Denise Billings tonight. Go ahead and like, tag, and share, subscribe, pull out your popcorn, whatever you need to do to be involved in this conversation tonight. All right, Miss Denise, listen, the very first question that I ask all of my guests, please tell us, who is Denise Billings?
Well, Denise Billings, I just discovered recently, I never had the name for it before. Denise Billings is a womanist. They talk about feminist, but I am a womanist, and it's different because it is centered and focused on Black women.
Okay.
I want the best for us. I want us to thrive. I want us to stop hiding. I want us to live and be our best selves at all times.
I love
and
it.
I fight for that. I fight for that.
Yeah.
To express ourselves, to be free, to be ourselves at all times.
I love that. Oftentimes we're not allowed that. We're not allowed to be ourselves and express ourselves. We're, often seen as angry if we express our thoughts because we don't go with the status quo. because we actually have opinions and thoughts about things, then, we get labeled so often. We can be smiling and still say, that you're an angry Black woman, even though you're smiling. So yeah, I get that. Wow, that's deep. Miss Denise has several books that she has written. She's actually working on her third work currently. She's going to tell us about the different projects she's got going on. I'm just going to read a little bit about your bio, Miss Denise, if that's okay with you. So Miss Denise was born and raised in St. Louis, Missouri. Denise earned a BA in psychology at Lincoln University in Missouri, and she's been a union representative, a fundraiser for nonprofits, which I need to talk to you about, and a bookstore owner. And I didn't know that you were a bookstore owner, so that is new information as well. So she's got some amazing anthology projects. She's going to tell us about the two that she has already published, and then she's also going to tell us about the one that she is working on now. 2004 Black Authors Matter TV Award. Woo! Very nice, very nice. And several awards to go along with that. I thought you were about to say something. That's why I paused.
I know. I'm like, oh, that sound good, don't I?
You've got some good things going on. She's also co-author of a newly published A Gathering of Voices, Stories from the Longwood Writers Workshop. So she'll kind of talk a little bit more about that so that we can kind of know what's going on with that. She's got a bonus daughter and a son-in-law, and lives in Los Angeles, California with her husband. And I'll let you say the fourth
and final.
She said fourth and final. Praise
God. That's it.
Listen, I'm in waiting for my fourth and final. So hey, no judgments here. So I love it. I love it. And she is married to Mr. Earl Billings, who happens to be a noted actor also. And so blessings, blessings, blessings. All right. Well, I guess we should just jump right on in there, Miss Denise. Kind of tell me, and all of us that are watching, what got you into writing? How did you get into writing?
Well, I'm a reader, and I've always been a reader from a young age. I watched my father read all the time. Okay. And he would disappear into the bathroom with the Sunday paper. Now, this was in the 60s, so the Sunday paper was thick. He'd have a pack of cigarettes, and we wouldn't see him for the rest of the day. He was reading. He had books all over the house. He read paperbacks about army men, about hard-boiled detectives, and manly stuff. And I read all of his books that he read, and I saw him read. Now, he didn't read to me, but I saw him read, and that made me want to read, because what was so interesting to him, I don't know, but I had to find out. And so that's how I started being aware of the written word and how powerful it was, because it became very powerful for me as I grew, and the subject matters changed, and it broadened, my interest broadened. And as a teenager, when I came into contact with writers like Maya Angelou and Toni Morrison and Baldwin, I was like, oh my God, they are writing about me. Mm-hmm. I had read all the other little stories about the other people and their coming of age and what have you. I never saw myself in those stories. And then I read these stories, and I was like, oh, I must read more. I must read everything they've ever written, ever. And so that really sparked my love of the written word. I still wasn't thinking about writing for myself. Right. But I do remember, I'm not sure if it was Toni Morrison or Maya Angelou who said that if there's a book that you want to read, you must write it yourself. Somewhere along the line, I heard that, and I was like, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Okay.
Yeah. So
that's very encouraging.
It took a long time. It took a long time, life, and I just kind of put that idea of being a writer myself just in the back, it was in the closet, up in the attic. It was just pushed all the way. I never thought about it for myself. It took a long for me to get to that point.
I mean, you said in the closet, in the attic, pushed way, way back.
That
No,
it was,
I get it. I
yeah.
get it. You know, it's amazing once you come into writing. You find it, and I say this, you tell me if you found it to be, and I ask a lot of the guests on the show, have you found your writing to be therapeutic? Has it been healing for you?
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yes. Especially in writing a memoir, you,
Mm,
if you don't go deep, if you don't tell the hard truths,
yeah.
you're wasting everybody's time. And
Yeah.
so I wrote about stuff that was
Yeah.
very difficult, and it really helped. It really helped to heal me,
Mm,
and it strengthens me every time I have a reading and read those things over and over. Uh,
hmm.
it still is painful,
Yeah.
but I feel stronger with every reading. And you know what else? My writers group, my Longwood Writers Group, we were
Uh-huh.
all writing memoirs. We started in
Wow.
2018, and so we were all writing memoirs. That was just a lucky coincidence. And over those years,
Yeah.
it's six of us, two men, four women. And as we wrote at the table in Denise Nicholas' house, she was our leader, the things that came up, the tears, the
Yeah.
laughter, the joy, the
Ooh,
pain, it was
yeah.
all released at that table.
I'm imagining that. You didn't know this, but I'm actually in the process of writing my memoir. And Denise, listen, like you said, it forces you to have to go back and relive some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You can write bits and pieces of your story in multiple books, but it's a whole different thing writing the memoir, where you got
Mm-hmm.
to put it all together, and you can't say a character name
Right.
because it's your memoir.
It's you.
Is
Um,
you.
your feelings, the real, raw, true feelings.
Yeah, yeah. It's really challenging. I will be releasing mine in July, and it's
Good
taken
for you.
everything in me to keep pushing because I'm just like, do I want to talk about that? And then I'm challenging myself, Denise, because I'm like, well, it can't be my memoir if I don't speak my truth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's what you just said a few minutes ago kind of was an aha moment. Like it's not a memoir if you don't really tackle the tough stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
taken me 3 years to get here.
I understand.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about your very first writing and just kind of tell us why are you laughing?
Yeah, because you know how first writings come out.
Yeah,
You think you're writing some genius stuff, and then you look back at it and go, "What was
yeah.
I thinking?"
Listen,
Well,
I've done that.
yeah, like, what?
I have unpublished some stuff.
Some stuff, and some stuff
Yeah,
I wish I could unpublish.
yeah.
But I started out as a blogger because I wanted to write, and I was
Okay.
like, okay, this will be safe. I could just write a few paragraphs here and there, and
Yeah.
see how it goes. See how it is received,
Okay.
and it was received well. And I was like, okay, cool. After a year of writing a blog, I was like, I'm just gonna write a book. It's gonna be this blog. I'm just gonna put it together. I'll make copies of it, put it all together, put it in a book, and I got a book. No, no, that's not how it works. But I
No.
thought, I thought that was a softer, easier way to write a book. But it
Right.
was a start. That is where I got my kernel for the book, for the memoir.
Yeah, you have to start somewhere, and the thing is being courageous enough to get started because it takes courage to begin to write on pages that will last forever what you think and what you feel.
Yeah.
People are so quick to judge and to critique someone's writing, but whether someone finds it good, bad, or indifferent, the reality is it's an expression. you know
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I when I do my writing, and when I'm thinking to myself that I'm pouring out things that I need to get out. I need to put it on the paper. It has a message, and we have to deliver those messages, right?
We have to. We
Yeah,
really do. And that's what my teacher would say, put it on the page. Put it on the page. Don't be talking about it. Put it on the page.
that's right.
Yes.
That's right. So tell me about the Longwood Writers Workshop. When did y'all form the group, and kind of how did y'all all, just decide? Was it a couple of friends that were just talking one day? Like, how did y'all get all together? It sounds like y'all have a unique thing going on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Irreplaceable, unduplicatable. Um,
Is that something y'all say in your group?
yes. 'Cause we became family. We really did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, again, in 2018, Denise Nicholas was working
Mhm.
on her second book. Her first book was Freshwater Road.
Oh.
And it was about her experiences in the Jim Crow South as she was
Mhm.
doing that work down south as a young woman. And so her book was so good, and I had finally got up enough courage to ask somebody to help me with my writing because I didn't want to be critiqued. And
Right.
I didn't want to be criticized. I didn't know the difference between a critique and
Right.
criticism.
Right.
And so that held me back for many, many years. But I was finally it was just bursting out of me. I was like, okay. And somebody said, well, don't you want your writing to be good? So I'm like, okay. I do want it to be good. And
Yeah.
what can I do about it? So I asked, and at the same time, I was wanting to ask somebody. Denise Nicholas was thinking about starting a writers group because as she worked on her second book, she
Mhm.
wanted to be able to bounce her ideas off of other writers,
Right.
and so it came together at a good time.
Yeah.
I asked her about it, and she decided to start another a workshop because she had gone to Janet Fitch's workshop, and that's where
Okay.
she wrote her Freshwater Road. Janet Fitch wrote White Oleander,
Okay.
a big New York Times bestseller and all that stuff.
Okay.
But so what everything that Denise Nicholas learned in all of the workshops she had ever gone to, she poured all of that into
Wow.
us,
That's
into
a
the
blessing.
six of us. So she allowed me to be in the group, and she
Yeah.
selected four other people and who had the same kind of a mindset,
Hmm.
who were working on books and thinking about writing. And
Yeah.
so she let me in the group, and I'm so grateful. I learned so much because first we all had to learn how to write,
Yeah. Yeah.
not just throw some words on a page, but we had to learn technique and
Yeah.
skills and all of that. And
Hmm.
so we did that in the first couple of years. And then she was like, but we writing a book, y'all. We're gonna
Okay.
write a book and we're gonna publish a book. And I
Yeah.
was like, ooh, you know, right? Ooh, I hadn't even thought it out that far. I was just like, we're gonna write a book. I didn't think about publishing a book and
Yeah.
finishing a book and all of that. So that's how that started. And Otto, it's four of us: Otto, Hattie, Winston Wheeler, Denise Nicholas, Gwen Williams, Charles Floyd Johnson, and me, and Denise Nicholas. So I'm Denise. She's Denise N. I'm Denise B.
Okay.
And
Okay. So
uh,
Denise is in the house.
Denise's in the house, and so
Yeah.
we were in Denise's house at her dining room table every Saturday,
Yeah.
pounding it out, bringing our pages, or having our pages read,
I
and
love
having
it.
our critiques and learning how to do this thing. And
I
so
love
we
it.
did it. We finally did it, and it was the most glorious of experiences. That April 19th when we had that book launch, it was just fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is beautiful. So tell us, Miss Denise, what was it like growing up? What was your family life like? Let us get to know you as the author, not only as the author, but as the woman. What was family life?
Well, it was dominated by my mother.
Okay.
And I found out that my first book, I realized when I finished my first memoir that, hey, how come this book is all about her? What happened?
Yeah.
But she, she raised me, and my brother, who's 2 years younger than me, she raised the two of us on her own. Uh,
Mm,
she was married to my father, and they divorced when I was about 9, and that really traumatized me.
Yeah.
I didn't want my father to go. I was so dramatic. I was out there holding onto his leg as he was going out the door. Don't go, Daddy, don't go. It was drama.
Mhm.
Uh, and they're both gone now, but that life as a daughter of a single mother, I
Yeah.
watched her. I
Hmm.
watched her, and I'm sad to say I did not appreciate all that she was doing for us when I was a kid.
Yeah. I
I
get
was always thinking that she should do more and give me more, and I never thought about who did the dishes, who made the beds, who paid the bills.
everything.
She
Yeah.
did all of those things
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
more. She did so much for me. So, and I would say my grandmother. I spent a lot of time with my grandmother, who was able, as a grandmother, to be warm and soft and loving.
Yeah.
Well, I would tell anybody who asked when I was a little kid, "Oh, I love my grandmother more than I love my mother."
Yeah.
But because but my grandmother, when I thought about that, when I was writing that memoir, I was like, grandmother was working me like a slave. She had me
Yeah.
burning ice cream and making chow down in the basement. There was another thing had to churn. She had me holding up the laundry because she didn't have, she had one of them. I was doing all of the churning on the
Yeah.
washing machine,
Yeah.
on all of the. I like, wait a minute. But so my life was mostly centered around women.
Yeah.
My grandfather was there. My father wasn't around, and so it was mostly women that raised me.
Yeah. I was sitting and thinking as you were talking. My mom was a workaholic, and she held it down for me and my sister. And so, a lot like you, I didn't really appreciate a lot of things. All I knew is she was a workaholic. She was gone all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at that now as an adult, and I'm over here with 5 businesses, my head like now I get it. You know what I'm saying? It
Wonder where that came from.
no, right.
What?
But now I get it. Now I'm over here balancing, like, okay, let me stop working on the computer. Let me schedule myself a day off. Let me do
Yeah.
these things to be conscious and present. And you said just a few minutes ago that if you would have been asked who did you love the most, you would have said your grandmother. And the reason being was because she was present. And
Yeah.
we think sometimes that present means more, but reality is your mom couldn't be present like mine, couldn't be present because she was doing everything. But we don't get that, when we're younger, and we don't. But when you get older, like you said, we get to a point in life when we're in that position and we're in that role, and you're just like, wow, how did they do it? You
Mm-hmm.
know. So yeah, I get it. I just had an aha moment as you were talking just then, and I spent a lot of time with my grandparents as well when my mom was working. So wow, just you just get to a different place in life when you really sit and think and reflect, Denise.
You
Uh,
do. You
the thoughts
do.
that we have as children, we think we know it all anyway. Okay,
Mhm.
I know my 10-year-old. My 10-year-old think he my father. Okay. He thinks he's my father. He's like, well, mama, they said on YouTube. And I'm like,
Mhm.
what?
Mhm.
Yeah. So,
Mhm.
okay, very good. You had a close knit family. Um, any siblings? You said you had what, one sibling? Your brother?
I have a brother, a whole
Okay.
brother that
Okay.
I was raised with in the same house. And then I have a half brother who also died. And he was 15 years younger than me. Uh,
Okay.
and because after my father and my mother split up, my father married a woman who had 10 kids. And then
Oh,
they had one more together. I like, what?
whoa. Okay. So you will not be lonely. You you can pick up the phone and call a lot of folks if you
But
need.
I don't know him though. I don't know him.
Oh,
I
got
don't
you.
know him. I mean, we got to know him some as little kids, My
Yeah.
brother and I would go over there to visit, and it would just be so different from our life with our mother because it
Right.
was so many of them, and they had 4
Mm.
bunk beds in one bedroom, and it was
I
a
got
whole. And my
another
stepmother,
world.
who I really loved, she ran that home with military precision. And
Yeah.
me and my brother would be like, look at them. They would get up, sweep the floor, make the beds. Me and my brother didn't do none of that stuff at home. So
Yeah.
he was watching in awe.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we didn't stay connected. My brother
Yeah.
stays more connected with them. He's more connected with them because he stayed in St. Louis.
Okay. Yeah, you're all the way in California, so that
Mm,
does make a difference. Okay.
it does.
What part did faith play in your family? When was faith introduced into your family, into your life?
Well, my grandmother, she took us to church.
Okay.
She took us to church, and she made sure we went to Sunday school, and was the summer thing that they would have.
Vacation Bible school.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Vacation Bible School. We did that. We did that. I sang in the choir. I was an usher, and but then I didn't stay. My mother didn't go. My mother went on holidays. My father didn't go at all
I
and
understand.
to church. And so and for 5 minutes I told myself I was agnostic. While I was in college, I was like, yeah, I'm agnostic. I question God. That didn't last long. And then when I had my son, who's 40, who will be 45 in October,
Okay.
uh, when I had him, I was living in LA. I thought that I would go to church again so that he would know about church, so that he
Mhm.
can make a choice for himself when he became an adult. And so
Right.
I had another period of time where I was in church actively, and in the choir, and I was enjoying the choir, but I did not enjoy uh, the organized religion part. I,
Yeah,
I, I
I know where you're going. I was gonna go there next because I know the tradition. You did
I
not enjoy
like,
the tradition. Yeah.
yeah. So and that really threw me, especially when I was at one of those church meetings, and I heard that the pastor had been receiving death threats. I like, how y'all go? He was a great man. He was young, and he was trying to bring in young new life to the church and all that and stuff. And them old heads didn't. So I was like, you know what? Okay, yeah,
Right.
but I'm not a religious person, but I am a spiritual person. I do
Yeah.
have a God of my own understanding in my life, and God runs my life,
Yeah.
and
And when
so
you say, just out of curiosity, when you say a God, do you mean God the Father, Jesus, the Son, the Holy Spirit,
I suppose so.
the Trinity? Do you believe in the Trinity?
I don't have a good understanding of all that. I
Okay.
just know that there is a God, and it's not me. That's
Gotcha.
all I know.
Okay. Okay.
That's all I know.
Yeah. And do you think that that opinion, well, not I think, it was pretty clear that that opinion and that question mark came from what you saw in organized religion? Would it be clear to say that?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I
yeah.
get that. What the Lord has me on this mission of helping people to understand, because um, I've been in church all my life, Denise. But the reality is, being in church is not the same thing as being in relationship with Christ.
Yeah,
So you can be in church all your life, going to the building, doing the things, as you were saying, singing in the choir, teaching classes, preaching in the pulpit. You can be doing all those things and still not know Christ.
yeah,
And what the Lord really wants is He wants us to be in relationship with Him. And in relationship with Him doesn't mean um, that you have to be in the church to talk to Him. You can be in your car, you can be in your bedroom, you can be on your job. It's a 24/7 relationship. It's not just, under rituals and things of that sort.
right,
And
right.
so that is what the Lord is really desiring from His followers. And we say Christian so lightly these days. And
Mm,
reality is, you're not a Christian if you're not a follower of Christ. Being at a church and in a building, that's where we've gotten caught up. And
yeah,
it saddens me when I hear things like what we're talking about, because you hope that when you go to the building that you're going to be made the better, you know. But because there's a lot of churches that don't have Christ, they just have religion. You
Yeah.
find that a lot of people get lost in the shuffle, and that's the sad part. That's not the will of God. So I just kind of want to just ask you about that, because it was coming up in my mind before we talked about it, and
Well,
it just
I feel that me and God have a very good, close, special, sweet, personal relationship,
yeah. Yeah.
and and I'm very pleased with where we are together.
Well, praise him. Praise him. I think it's good that you're able to talk about, where you were versus where you are now, and get an understanding about that. And the thing is, the Lord is willing to help us, in getting our understanding. He
Hmm.
left his word that we can pick it up at any given time, and we can read line by line, verse by verse, so that we can get a really good understanding. And you just pray and ask the Holy Spirit to help you, because we need it in this world. Would you agree?
Absolutely. It's a dumpster fire. So
Yeah, we need the word of God. We need some personal relationship, not just
mhm,
the
just to
emotion.
be able to walk through each day
Yeah.
uh, with some hope.
Yes. Hope and encouragement, something to look forward to.
Hmm.
It's just so much going on. I don't hardly even watch the news anymore, Denise.
It's
It's
too
just,
much. It's very distressing.
listen, it's too much. I'm kind of like, okay, what's going on? Okay, I don't want to know anything
It's
else,
just the headlines. Don't give me. I don't need to know all of the everything because it's
Yeah.
too much. It's too much for me.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. What year did you get started writing? Because I'm kind of wondering. I know you kind of got started a little later in life, kind of like me. I'm
Mhm.
about to be 50, and I just got started when I was like almost 47. So, kind of tell me, how long have you been writing, and what has that been like for you? Kind of starting at the later part of your life.
Well, it's been good. It's been good. I really do wish I had started earlier, but here I am. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
make the most of where I am now. And so I started when I was in my late 60s,
Okay.
and so I'm 70 now. And
What? Wait a minute. Stop the press.
mhm.
You are 70?
So it's never too late to start.
Oh my God, Denise, I would have never guessed that. You
Mhm.
look so good. I'm
Why, thank
serious. I did not know you were 70 years old. Even
you.
when I met you in person, I would not, I mean, not that 70, is supposed to be bad, but
But
I
it's
would
over. It's a big number. It's a big number.
I
I
would
had
have never guessed. Wow.
Listen, when I was
Really?
69 and it started getting close to my birthday, I was
Yeah.
just going along, I'm 60, I'm 60, I'm 60. Wait a minute. I'm about to turn 70. 70. It took me weeks to adjust my mind to being
Yeah.
70. And I had to
Wow.
write about it. I'm posting on Facebook. Oh my God, I'm about to be 70. But
Yeah. Well, you're
it's
wearing it well. You were wearing it well. Okay, okay. So did it well, I know you didn't necessarily see writing for yourself, kind of like me. But when you actually got started, what did that feel like?
oh, it felt so good. It was a joy
Yeah.
that I didn't know I needed. Uh,
Mm,
after
I like
every,
that.
I didn't know it. I didn't know it. And after every writing session with the Longwood Writers Workshop, my
Yeah.
people, I would take Hattie home after each meeting, and so we would be in that car going, "Girl, oh my God, this feels so good.
Yeah.
We are doing it. We are writing." And we would talk about how when we got home, because we had assignments, bring in 8 pages and what have you. And we would get home and just write and write and write and write. Our husbands would have to come get us because we just be just in the
Yeah.
groove. It was just so much. And I still get a thrill out of it when I get started. I
Mhm.
will procrastinate then, but when I get started, I'm like, ooh, and and
Yeah.
then I'm just
Oh,
going,
it's
going,
amazing. You can get lost, can't you?
going.
Now, do you write early in the mornings, late at night? What is your writing time? What does yours look like?
I read about all of people who have their ways, routines.
Yeah.
I don't really have one. If there's 5 minutes in a day that I'm sitting in front of the computer,
Yeah.
I better start. I better write a sentence or two,
Okay.
and so I just get it in when I can fit it in.
Now, let me ask you this. My books are like movies in my head. Are your books like that too? Do you kind of like see them in your head and then you play them out? Like, how does it work for you?
I wish I was like that, especially for that novel. I'm trying to have that movie in my head. It ain't in there. I have a monkey mind. It jumps around from
Wait,
subject to subject.
I'm saying some stuff tonight. Oh, monkey mind.
I do. It just
What
begun.
are we talking about?
I have a short attention span, and
Yeah.
so I'm just like, okay, if a story
Yeah.
pops up, I just write it down, and it's just like a scene. And so
Yeah.
eventually, I'm gonna have all of these
Put it
scenes
all
strung
together.
together,
Yeah.
and but it comes scene by scene, and then it'll be backwards and inside out. And Gwen, one of our writers fellows group members,
Yeah.
she's real good at saying, okay, cut this, put this here, put that over here, and
Mhm.
put this in the next chapter, and I'm like,
Organization.
so I'm like, right now I was thinking about last night. I was like, I'm gonna ask Gwen if she could look at these pages because they coming out of my head all disjointed, and I'm just putting them on the page, and I need somebody to straighten them out for me.
Oh, I get it. I get it. That's amazing, that having that group. And I'm a part of several writing groups myself. Having people to bounce things off of is really amazing because you have that support and you don't feel like you're at it by yourself. We've got a heart from Janice Gilbert. Hello, Miss Janice.
Hi,
How are you?
cousin. That's my cousin.
Okay, okay. I'm going to put a couple of things up on the screen. These are some ways that you can contact Miss Denise. So we've got several ways, and no matter what time you look at the interview, you'll be able to look into the comment section and be able to see these contacts. And then we've also got how you can buy her books, and then also put another link on here for her website. Okay, so we've got our website as well. And again, no matter what time you watch this interview, those links will be there so that you can check those out. Okay. What about what is the core message, Denise, of your books for somebody who's saying, why should I get a Denise Billings book? What is the core message of your books?
I want people to know that you can survive life,
Mm,
because we know it's coming at us just like 100 miles per hour these
yeah,
days,
yeah,
and Black women are one of his main targets.
mm,
We can survive this. We
yeah,
can survive this. We can thrive, um, and knowing that that is what will defeat them, our simple survival.
mm-hmm,
And you can go through stuff and you can think that it's the end of the world, but it's not.
yeah,
It's not the end of the world. And so young people, old people need to know that you can survive. You can
yeah,
survive. And my main core audience is Black women. That's who I write for. Write for
yeah,
Black women. I
yeah,
write about the interior lives of Black women because we, like you said earlier, we have thoughts, we have needs, we have cares, we have opinions,
yeah,
and we don't need to hide our greatness and our light
mm-hmm,
behind helping somebody else and doing for this and one and that one. Yeah,
yeah.
we can help them, but we got to put ourselves first. Put
That's
ourselves first.
yeah. Well, what is coming up next for you, Miss Denise? I know you have a project you're working on right now. What else do you have going on? What can we be on the watch for?
Yeah, well, look out for more interviews and readings and stuff, and keep an eye on my website because that's where all of the updates will be. And just the two books, the The next one will be, I don't know which one will come out first. It'll probably be that memoir in essays, because it's pretty much all written. Because again, that monkey mind, I can do this, and somebody's gonna line them stories up for me. And then the novel. The novel, there was this song called New York City Girl that came by Odyssey, that came out in the 70s when I was a teenager. And I love that song. Young and pretty New York City girl. Okay, I won't sing no more. And
That
I
was
love the lyrics.
good.
I
Okay.
love those lyrics. and um and so I thought I was thinking about that song as an adult. I was listening to it recently, and I was like, yeah, man, I sure like that song. New York, I love the vibe of New York.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, what if
Mm-hmm.
instead of coming to Los Angeles, I
Mm-hmm.
had gone to New York? What if I had pursued my dream of
Mm-hmm.
writing a book, of working for a big book publisher? What if
Yeah.
I had done that? Because in my 30s, I started thinking about it again, but still in LA, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, but all the big book publishers are in New York.
Yeah.
Um, but so what if I had gone to New York? What if me and my girls were there and we were hanging out and we were doing Six in the City type of stuff, okay, and just living our best lives in New
Yeah.
York? How would that be? What kind of stuff would we have gone through, and dramas and stuff
Wow.
and what have you? So that's that novel. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, girl, you can just make stuff up. Oh, yeah, I can make stuff up. Oh, what will I make up? Oh, I don't know, but you'll see.
That's the part about writing is your imagination can just run, and it's so fun to be able to think about the what ifs and the things you didn't get to do. You can still do them through a book, through your writings. And so
Yeah.
that's the amazing part about writing. Well, I tell you what, Miss Denise, it has been an amazing interview tonight, being able to talk to you
Yeah.
and hearing all things Miss Denise Billings. Um, what is your, I'll say, oh, I don't want to say it as like a closing statement, but what is your final word of encouragement to your target audience, which would be Black women? What would your final words of encouragement be to them tonight?
You got this, sis. No
Yeah.
matter what it is you're doing, big or small, you got this. Breathe, pray, and keep it moving. You
Yeah.
got this. You got this.
I love that. I love that. Well, you have heard it here. Miss Denise Billings has some amazing things going on. Make sure that you look into the comments where you'll be able to contact her on all of her platforms and be able to support, stay watch on her channels so that you'll be able to see her new projects when those two last projects that she's got coming up. She's already got two published. Let me get one last comment before we head out. And Miss Janice said, "Hi, family." And she said, "Love your interview, Denise. That is Miss Irene
Irene.
Franklin."
Irene.
Very good. Very good. So make sure to support author Denise Billings. Thank you, Miss Denise, for being here. Will you be at the Black Books Festival this year?
I won't be able to make it this year. I'm,
Okay.
I'm going to miss seeing you this time.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Well, you stay in touch. Have a great night. And thank you so much for being on tonight.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Stay tuned. Next Thursday night, we will have a very special edition. Um, I'm listen. There's so many things, and we kind of touched on some things tonight. But I'm going to put this up on Thursday night. We're having a special edition called "Abusive Christian Marriage." I wrote this book 3 years ago, actually, and over the last couple of weeks, I have had so many women coming to me, Denise,
Mm,
talking to me, giving me their testimonies. I was actually in Winsboro, Texas, and I had my book, Abusive Christian Marriage, on the table. And a lady came over and she was just staring at the book. And
mm.
she finally waited till the crowd cleared and she said, "That's my story." And I looked at her and I said, okay, and let's just say before it was all over with, she had stood there probably 30, 40 minutes. There were tears. I had to get up and hug her, like not just her crying, we were crying.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about so many things that we had in common. And then another young lady came over, got in the conversation. She had experienced some things as well. I was just like, okay, Lord, I hear you. This is the conversation that needs to be had. And so on Thursday night, you have to tune in. It is going to be a conversation, abusive Christian marriages.
Wow.
And it is going to be it's going to be eye opener. It's going to be an eye opener. And so make sure that you tune in, make sure that you tell
Well,
somebody that needs to hear that. If you know that they're in it still, or they're newly out of it, they will hear some things that will encourage them. It's not just going to be the bashing of the bad things that happen, but stories of
mhm.
survival. Let me
That's
say that we're going to be talking about the survival of how
yeah,
we got through it. Okay, how we got through it, and that is what the message is. Okay, so
yeah.
thank
And
you
I talk
again, Miss
about a lot
Denise.
of that. I talk about a lot of that in my first memoir, and it needs to be said over and over so people can free themselves.
We have to. We have to, because so often people feel like they're the only ones. And so
Hmm.
we definitely have to say it. I was almost about to go, but I forgot. Let me say this, and oh, my team would be so mad at me. This Saturday, May the 17th, 10 o'clock to 3 o'clock in Dallas, Texas, Hiding Behind the Lipstick Conference. Make sure that you register on Eventbrite. We have done so much to put this together with you in mind. This whole conference is pretty much an altar call for you to be able to be in the presence of the Lord, to get free from whatever has been holding you bound. It is all about Him on that day. And we just want you to be in the house. If I get, you know what, if you get in the doors, I know you will have an encounter with the Lord that will change your life. So,
Wow.
Saturday, May 17th, we have an amazing saxophone player, Pastor. He's called the Sax Pastor. My dear friend, Pastor Alexander Allen, is going to be coming out. He is a Stellar Award nominated saxophone player. He is going to do two actual sets for us during our praise and worship experience. We've got some powerful anointed women of God that are going to be bringing the word. We got Listen, Denise, we're giving away a Coach bag.
Oh,
Whatever lady shows up and has the most guests in the house wins a Coach bag. Okay. Listen, I went to the Coach store, had it wrapped all beautified and everything.
wow.
So listen, we just need you in the house so that you can be blessed. Okay. So it's going to be
Okay.
an amazing evening, not evening, morning on Saturday, May the 17th, 10 o'clock to 3 o'clock. It is at Growing by Grace Church. It's 3814 Maryland Avenue, Tyler, Dallas, Texas. Okay. And so make sure that you go to Eventbrite and buy your tickets. You want to get your tickets now. Tickets are $50. That is inclusive also of a meal and also refreshments. If you wait until Saturday, tickets are $60. So I would get my ticket now.
Also, that's an in-person event in
It is
Texas.
a in-person, yes, ma'am. It is a in-person conference. Just I'm telling you, just be in prayer for us, Miss Denise, that some
Will
lives
do.
lives are changed and saved, and just an opportunity to just be in the presence of fellow believers. And we're gonna have a good time. We are
All
just
right.
gonna have a good time. I'm looking forward to the whole thing from start to finish. I'm looking forward to the whole thing. And so this Saturday, I almost forgot. My team would have been like, "Why didn't you talk about the conference?" So again, have a great night. Thank you again, Miss Denise. Have a good
Thank
night.
you for having me, Stephanie.
Yes, ma'am. Bye bye.
If you would like to be a guest on the Stephanie M. Seaton Sunday Show, email Stephanie at stephaniemseatontheauthor@gmail.com.